Welcome to the Geek'd Up podcast, episode number 15. I'm your TV terminating, comic book collecting, movie messiah, video game god, or you can call me Corey.
What's up? It's Just Jess.
Corey and Just Jess here on the 15th episode of the Geek'd Up podcast. Fourth episode of the video podcast. Last time I'm going to say that, but we had a pretty busy week. Went and saw
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Out of Compton. I highly recommend you see it if you're at all interested in that history and the music behind all that. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was really good.
We also last week, 2 weeks ago, finished Wet Hot American Summer, this show, which we never actually talked about. Just been pretty busy, traveling out of town a couple times and seeing movies, and we're really looking forward to a couple that are coming out this week. But I think it's time to get on to the news in a segment we like to call Geek This Week. This is Geek This Week, all the news from the past week, wrapped up in a bow for you in about 5 minutes to let you know everything that happened in the world of geek, so let's get it started. Does an Office-esque TV show centered around an insurance company for superheroes interest you? What if I said it's set in the DC universe? Well, it's happening and it's called Powerless. Apparently, the entertainment industry is powerless to not give us shitty ripoffs we didn't ask for or want.
Ronda Rousey is serious about Miss Marvel. She took to Instagram to share these pieces of art. Looks like she's serious about not wanting to fight Cyborg.
Dun dun dun. Lenny Robinson, best known as Route 29 Batman, who went viral a few years ago, was hit and struck when he pulled over the side of the road in his Batmobile. He was 51 years old. Now, he dances with the devil in the pale moonlight.
We saw Chris Hemsworth all dressed up in new Ghostbusters photos, but the real question is, how long will he be dressed up for? Am I right, ladies?
Kevin Smith went on record to say that Ronda Rousey is perfect for the role of Captain Marvel. I mean, the best advice for a huge budget movie is definitely the guy who made Tusk.
I agree with you. Dwayne Johnson is attached to another Disney attraction turned film franchise, Jungle Cruise. Ironically, he was cast as a rock. Johnny Depp will star.
The first images from Star Trek Beyond surfaced. Features Chris Pine and Sofia Boutella, whose character is still unknown. Also unknown, Sofia Boutella.
Warner Brothers is adapting a live-action version of Dante's Inferno from the Divine Comedy. If Warner Brothers wanted us to sit through 2 hours of hell, they should have released the Fantastic Four.
Oh! That is it for Geek This Week. Now it's time for Top of the Stack. We got image, and more image this week on Top of the Stack. So this week on Top of the Stack, we're covering 3 comics, 2 from me, 1 from Jess, and no recommendations other than that. So, first up, I read Outcast number 11 by Robert Kirkman, art by Paul Azaceta, and colors by Elizabeth Brittweiser. This one, I know you haven't been keeping up on this series.
I did read this one,
You did read this one. Starts off with Satan, which I'm assuming is Satan. I don't know for sure. But he's talking to the Reverend. Basically, he's telling him about Kyle and how he shouldn't mess with Kyle anymore. It's his last warning. And I really like the sentence where he says, "I'm not afraid of you, the Lord's watching." And as this Satan guy walks away, he says, "But what if he isn't?" I just thought that was really sinister and dark, and it would make perfect for the show, you know? Just be a perfect shot. Then we go back. What?
We are devil worshippers.
Of course. I mean, anybody who likes stuff like this worships the devil. I mean, it's just fair game.
Yeah.
Not to mention my pentagram tattoo across my entire back. But then we go back to basically the end of last week where Kyle's at his wife's house and he got in a confrontation with her, but he's still sitting there. His sister comes to get him, and this is where we get a deep connection with the characters, where it kind of runs in like a Walking Dead, where you get a lot of characterization, not so much exorcising demons and creepy demon shit. It's more, let's get to know these characters and why they're so fucked up, and that's what this is. It was a good shot scene of his sister trying to get him away and him finally seeing his daughter again. But there is one key element in there that really caught my eye, and that's this whole time we thought he may have hurt his daughter, but his daughter says, "Why can't you come around here anymore, Dad?" Is it because Mommy got scary? So it wasn't the daughter, it was the wife that apparently was possessed. And he doesn't want to talk about the rest of the time. And then we get a glimpse into his sister's husband's house, and the daughter hears a dog, and she wants help, and the dad won't help her. And finally he's like, fine, I'll go check it out. There's no dog, but there's a good secret at the end of this. It's not a dog, it's something. But you're going to have to read it. I thought it was a very good issue. It not only had that creepy ending and creepy little scenes here and there, but you got to dive deep into the characters and really get to find out more about them. You, being a first-time reader, what did you think about it?
Well, obviously I was lost. I didn't know who anybody was. Didn't know what to make of anything. I thought it was a good issue for what it was, but, to me it wasn't really anything because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
so
you weren't connected to any of
yeah.
that. Yeah. For this issue, I'm going to give it a Christian Bale. I really like the art is always really good as usual. The colors by Elizabeth Brittweiser are really good as well, and the story's picking up. It's something that you're really getting to know these characters, where I used to really want more demon stuff. Now the characterization is really making it top notch, so it's getting a Christian Bale from me.
All right.
What are you giving it as a first time reader?
I guess a Michael Keaton.
Okay, so it is getting a Christian Bale and a Michael Keaton from Geek'd Up. What do we have next on the menu?
We Stand on Guard #2 by Brian K. Vaughan. Art by Stephen Scroce.
Colors by Hollingsworth.
Hollingsworth.
Yeah.
Okay. So we jump in. We see Canadians are preparing for a fight. You'll never guess who they're trying to fight, though.
Who are they trying to fight?
The Americans. Anyways, they go back to their hideout, which we're assuming is in some kind of a mountain. We flash to the Americans, and they've captured somebody. I don't think we know who it is.
Yeah.
They capture him, and he thinks he's been captured for trying to get more water for his crops and for his family. So that tells us that Americans ration water out to people. It's not just flowing freely.
Well, it was until they took over Canada for their water. But yeah.
So he thinks that's why he's getting arrested. Turns out he was arrested because apparently he was supplying, they say he was supplying Canadians with weapons. So they arrest him for treason, I guess you'd say. Flashback to the Canadians. Canadians are doing a cleanup detail, cleaning up all their mess from taking the big, what would you call it?
That big, just
mech.
Yeah.
Big mech. And we see Chief is out there, and she gets shot. Chief gets shot. And she's...
Spoilers.
Yeah, no, I feel bad. I felt bad saying that immediately.
It's alright. It's been out a week.
But there's more to come. She got shot, that's all I'm gonna say. And she gets taken somewhere. I didn't care for this one.
No. See, I saw a whole lot more going on. It starts out with the Americans, American terrorists, basically just being terrible to the Canadian citizens at these elderly people's house.
Well, it was a flashback.
Yeah, where they're beating them, and it shows just how violent Americans were when they were doing this takeover. And we find that our protagonist and her brother are hiding in those people's doghouse. So apparently they were housing them as well and taking care of them. We also get to see that Amber, who is the main girl, is blindfolded by these people when she gets taken to their base because they still don't trust her.
Well, the less she knows, the better.
Yeah, like if she gets taken
captured.
in, yeah. They come to her and they say, hey, Chief and LePage are missing. And she immediately says, well, let's go get our guys. She's letting them know, hey, I'm on your side. Mm-hmm. Let's go do this. And then that's where we flash into that ending scene. She was shot, but you don't. That's not the whole spoiler. More happens right after that, so you got to read it to find out. But overall, I personally give it a Christian Bale. I really like the issue. I thought it told us a lot about the Americans and a lot about the Canadians. But so, what do you give it?
And I give it a George Clooney.
We stand on guard number 2, getting a Christian Bale and a George Clooney from Geek'd Up Podcast. And last on top of the stack is Nailbiter number 15 by Joshua Williamson, art by Mike Hernandez, and colors by Adam Guzmao. I'm getting that name wrong. I know it, and I apologize. It starts out with Agent Crane as a kid in a flashback talking to her mother, upset that Nailbiter, Eddie, has left her, but she also says, there's something I need to tell you. And I think she's going to tell her about his obsession with horror and serial killers and stuff like that. We don't ever really learn that in this issue, but actually I think we do. And I'm going to flash forward to that later. It just clicked what that is all about. So anyway, we flash forward Alice, the girl they found in the other one who got stabbed at the end of last issue. She's bleeding on the ground, and the Nailbiter said he's going to help him get out of there. He's going to show him the way, start going. They come across this like slaughter cave full of dead people, and here comes the killer. So they dive under the bodies. Killer comes in, does what a killer does, starts slashing at the bodies. Fortunately, they didn't get any of those. And then the killer's leaving, and the Nailbiter does what we think the Nailbiter should do, and he's going to lure that killer away from them so they can all get away. In this exchange, he gets caught, he gets beaten, and they tell him, the guy says, hey, you know what'll happen if these people find out about the truth. Millions are going to die. So now it's like, what the hell is really going on in this town?
Yep.
So in the meantime, we don't really know what happens to him. But the other people do escape. They do get to safety. He's told that the Bureau's going to take over. He's no longer on the case. And seeing as the Nailbiter, Warren, the Nailbiter, is no longer alive or he's missing, no one knows the truth. But at the end, something does happen. We do find out the truth. And you really have to stick around for that. But the one thing I just found out talking about this is she goes, I'm going with her. She's my daughter. And you never knew that. She was going to tell her mom she's pregnant by Warren. I guarantee you we're going to find out in a future issue that is Nailbiter's kid. And that's why she's so... I never even thought about that till right now.
Jeez, Corey.
Look for a further issue. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. But anyway, overall, I love this issue. Art on par, as usual. Story is really kicking off. We're getting a lot of more questions, but it's also... we are getting some answers, but the questions that we now have are really interesting questions. So I give this one a Christian Bale. What did you think about it, and what are you giving it?
First time reader, Michael Keaton. Not even knowing much, I did read the first issue. I thought, oh, well, this is kind of interesting. Unlike, what was the other one?
We Stand on Guard. The other one we read was Outcast.
Yeah. See, like, this issue for Nailbiter was one that kind of gets you hooked on. And then, whereas Outcast was more, if you've been into it, then it's a good issue.
Yeah, you really had to know what's going on in Outcast. Yeah. So, Nailbiter number 15 is getting a Christian Bale and a Michael Keaton from the Geek'd Up podcast. That's it for Top of the Stack, our weekly comic review. It is now time for the weekly pull. This week we have DC, Image, and Marvel on this week's The Weekly Pull. This week, like I said, we had a lot of comics from Image, DC, and Marvel, and we're going to start it off with Marvel. In the Ant-Man Last Days one-shot, when a clairvoyant predicts the end of the world, a mysterious woman sends Scott on a vital mission.
Since his exile from Atlantis, Aquaman has been exhibiting strange new powers. Watch him come face to face with Poseidon. Not all is what it seems. In Aquaman number 43.
It's a new miniseries in Batman Arkham Knight Genesis 1 of 6. Watch as Gotham's new supervillain, the Arkham Knight, takes over.
And in Cyborg number 2, since being Cyborg, Vic Stone is being targeted by aliens who want his technology.
In Flash number 43, Barry is a man conflicted. He's either going to help his dad run from the law, or he's going to bring him to justice.
In Gotham by Midnight, number 8, two of Gotham's top news reporters seem to be swaying the minds of the public with sinister supernatural intentions.
In Justice League of America number 3, a new religion has taken over the world seemingly overnight. Sick people are being healed and the world is in peace. So what's wrong with this picture? The Justice League tends to find out.
In Low number 9, hope is for the weak and only the strong survive.
In Rasputin number 8, how did he survive that fateful dinner?
In Roche Limit Clandestiny number 4, Langford presents Sarah and Elvis with a life or death ultimatum.
It's a new story arc and a standalone story, but the first chapter in Rumble number 6.
Sons of the Devil number 4, a dangerous face from the past reemerges.
In Spread number 9, The Children's Crusade Part 2, A Terror from the Skies.
In Star Wars Lando number 3, Lando has one of the most effective trackers on his tail. Gets swindled by one of the smoothest talkers in space.
In Superman number 43, Superman's very life is threatened, but Lois must make the toughest choice of her life.
And in We Are Robin number 3, the Robins meet Batman himself. But what will the Dark Knight think of them?
Dun dun dun. Is Batman pulling the strings?
No.
Don't think so. That's it for the weekly pull for the week of August 26th, 2015. Let us know in that list what you're getting, what we were missing, or what we should put from this list on top of the stack. Now it's time for a little Geek'd Up dramatic reading.
And now, a Geek'd Up dramatic reading.
This week we're doing an excerpt from The Empty Zone number 1, where our hero, I guess, Corinne, walks into her favorite bar, has a little rumblings with her friends right before she does a job, so...
Let's get into it.
Oh, hey Bright Eyes, what color are they today? Blue? Gold? I guess 8 finally got a hold of you. Why you late?
You know, nightmares, ghosts, the usual.
Your guy's at 11 o'clock, but he's getting ready to bounce.
Nixie Troy, data runner for a high-end black market neural enhancement firm. Bingo!
So anyway, I was thinking, after your shift is over, we might, you know.
Really? Hank, we're working, remember? Okay, line 'em up. God, you're gorgeous, Tim. Why you're still slinging drinks instead of making movies?
A, because who else gonna find Miss Corinne's favorite Irish whiskey? And 2, I can make the kind of movies I like right here in Pittsburgh.
Well, save me a ticket.
Tim.
Leaving so soon?
I have a meeting.
Maybe you do. Maybe you're late. Maybe I buy you a drink. It doesn't have to go like this. It wouldn't take anything to pin Troy down. I don't have to be charming, funny, snap his neck and take it. But sometimes you need to do things that make you feel normal, even if it's a lie. Nobody in the biz can do what I do. Transmission complete. Thanks anyway. Might want to get that eye fixed.
Huh?
Let's go, Hank.
I'm going for a smoke. What you might like it.
Okay, shots for the road. Make it 3.
Hold the door, pal. And that is the dramatic reading of The Empty Zone #1 by Corey and Just Jess. Let us know what you thought in the comments below when you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll get back to each and every one of you while you're there. Let us know what you want us to do next. Is there a comic you want to hear us do a dramatic reading of? Well, just let us know. And now, it is the time everyone has always waiting for. It is time for Versus. And first up, it's round 1 with Geek versus Girlfriend.
Round one. Fight.
Last week I had you read Postal #1 by Matt Hawkins and Brian Hill, art by Isaac Goodart.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was about a military man who is getting letters while in the military. He gets out and he wants to find out who is writing these letters. Were you right? Or were you dead wrong?
I think I'm dying.
Why?
Because I was dead wrong.
Oh. Yes.
Alright, so.
Seeing as it wasn't about that, what was it about?
Completely not what I expected at all. At all. Basically, we meet a man with Asperger's. He's a mailman. His mom is the mayor of the town. I'm guessing she probably got him the job as a mailman. He loves being a mailman. He's obviously a little different. He thinks differently. Basically, we start out, he transcribes a letter for a man that got damaged in the mail. And it was a letter saying, oh, we can't send you Sudafed anymore. We're sorry. So he takes it to the man. He lets the man know, hey, I had to transcribe this for you. And as he's handing the letter off, he notices a crosshair tattoo on his hand. He moves on. We kind of see him move about his daily life. So then we see his mom, who is obviously the mayor, and she's having a conversation saying how the town of Eden, which is where he lives, is a town of sinners, and people move there for their last chance. So basically it's a town of sinners who move there and they can't sin anymore. This is their last shot at living free, I guess you could say. So Mark, our mailman, ends up going to his mom's house, takes a dirt bike, and he's wondering where this red mud is coming from. He's like obsessing over this red mud. He drives out of town to where he thinks the red mud is coming from. Turns out, it's a meth house. It's a drug den. It's Missouri. No, so Mark notices all these crosshair tattoos on all these guys. And he goes back, tells his mom, and his mom is like, okay, we've got to do something. And we see this man with the crosshair tattoo. I don't know that we ever caught his name. We probably did. But he's in church, and they kill him because this is your last chance. If you do anything to fuck it up, you're gonna die, apparently, in this town. But that's not even the big news. Big news is, right outside of the church, there is a lady's body discovered and nobody knows who she is, or who killed her, or why, or when.
You
All
don't
the
find that out in the
W's.
first issue?
Who killed her?
Yeah.
No.
No? Oh, okay. So what you're saying is you were dead wrong.
Yes, in shorter terms.
Okay, so what did you think about this?
Interesting. Like, it is completely opposite of what I said. Like, not even opposite. It's not even the same realm of what I said.
Yeah.
So, I guess now I get the title, Postal
He's-
Service. Makes sense now.
It gets a lot deeper as the comic goes on and on, but...
On and on. How far into?
Well, it's only on issue 6 or something
Oh,
like that,
okay.
so it's not...
Very interesting. I want to know more about this town of Eden.
Yeah. So what do you give it?
Christian Bale.
And I am giving Postal number 1 a Ben Affleck.
Ooh.
It's one of my favorite ones right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I really like it. So, now it's time for this week's Geek vs. Girlfriend, and I am showing you They're Not Like Us number 1 by Eric Stevenson and Simon Gain. You look at that cover and tell me what you think this is about.
From Despair to Where? Rated M for mature. I think it's about a girl who is different, obviously.
So she's not like them.
She's not like normal people.
Okay.
And she's so tormented by it, she's gonna kill herself.
Okay.
Because she's just so overwhelmed with how different she is. And she ends up meeting a group of people who are like her. And I think that's what this issue is about.
Okay. You're going to lock that in?
Yeah.
This issue is about a girl who's not like normal people,
Mm-hmm.
who's fed up with it, but then meets a group just like her.
Mm-hmm.
Come back next week, see if she is right or if she is dead wrong. But for now, we are heading on to round 2 with Girlfriend versus Geek.
Round two, fight.
So last week, what did you ask me?
I asked you why a man got arrested and what he gave a 4-year-old.
That is correct.
And you said he gave a 4-year-old alcohol who was not related to him.
Correct. And I was dead wrong.
By far.
Yeah.
This is a pretty odd story.
Okay.
So, 34-year-old man is in a doctor's office. He approaches a kid and his mother, and he gives the 4-year-old a wet willy. Sticks his finger in his mouth, gives him a wet willy. The mother of the child and several others in the office confronted him, and he...
Wait a second. Where is he? Did you say
At
that?
a doctor's
Oh,
office.
okay.
And he ended up driving off, got in the car, drove off. He was stopped by police later and was charged with 2nd-degree reckless endangerment and 2nd-degree breach of peace. He was released on a $500 bond and was due in jail August 18th. So that was a couple days ago. I wonder what happened to him. What do you think about that? Should he have been arrested?
No. I think it's fucking weird as shit that he did it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on. I think maybe if he stuck around, he wouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess storming off like that made it weird. Like, they had to... And whatever. Was he irate when they pulled him over or whatever?
It didn't say.
He might have been. That may have been part of it. But either way, I don't think he should have done it. But, I mean...
That's a little harsh
somebody
punishment.
does it. If I had a kid... That's like somebody doing it to me and me going, oh, I'm calling the cops. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
Like, come on, just get some alcohol swabs and clean that shit out. That's all I'd do.
That's right.
But
That's
anyway.
why we're not parents.
So, yeah, I was dead wrong on this one. Still, it's an interesting story.
I know.
So what do you got for me this week?
So, a woman from New Jersey recently passed away. She was about 60 years old. In her obituary, she sent a message to the public.
Okay.
And this made news.
Oh, I'm not going to hear what it is. I got to tell you what it is. Okay. It made news.
What was the message she sent? And it was about the presidential candidates. I'll give you a hint. See, the candidates.
What the hell? 60-year-old woman?
Yeah.
60-year-old woman, in her obituary, she's now dead, sent a message to the public about the presidential candidates this year.
Not necessarily like information on them.
Or her
but,
thoughts about
right.
them.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
She said Hillary 2016. Locking that in.
All right.
So,
Okay, we'll see you next week.
we'll see next week. If I'm right, if I'm dead wrong, if she's right, if she's dead wrong, you're going to have to stay tuned next week to let us know. But if you have an idea of what they are without looking it up, let us know in the comments below when you like, comment, and subscribe. And we will get back to each and every one of you. If you have a topic you want us to do, just let us know on our Twitter at twitter.com/geekeduptweets or on our Facebook at facebook.com/geekeduptv. And that is it for the Geek'd Up Podcast, episode number 15. We will see you next week, but until then, make sure you stay geeked up and always hug a xenomorph.
Always.
Geek'd Up.